Hey, it's Todd. Welcome back to another A&M campaign dissection. And boy, do I have something special for you this month. I think this could be the most valuable campaign dissection that I've ever published and shared. And so buckle up, get ready. What we're going to look at is we're going to look at a couple of things in this campaign dissection. First and foremost, we're going to look at a promotion that's referred to as the Social Security loophole. This is from the financial publishing world. In fact, this is from our friends over at Agora Financial. But what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to give you a glimpse into the evolution of the idea. I want you to see how this idea came about, the Social Security loophole idea. I want you to understand where it began, what the kind of the product is behind this promotion. And I want you to understand and see how the copywriter came up with this incredible big marketing idea from a simple product, from a simple idea. I also want to show you a mock lead that I wrote for this same promotion. And what I really want you to see is I want you to see the difference between my idea and lead and the final idea for the promotion and lead that the copywriter, Evaldo, came up with. And I want you to see how much better his idea is than my idea, and hence why his lead and promotion is ultimately that much better than mine. And I want you to see this because I want you to see a couple things. Number one, I want you to pay attention to how you can very easily come up with multiple ideas, an unlimited number of ideas for the same promotion, the same product, right? I want you to see how you can go down two wildly different paths, 3 or 4 or 5, right? So that you can see that there's an unlimited opportunity when it comes to idea generation for the same product. That means that you can come up with a new promotion month after month after month after month if you want for the same exact product. I also want you to see how Evaldo, how the copywriter made a connection between the product and the idea. Like, I think you're really going to have a couple of light bulb moments as we go through this. So again, I'm going to show you the final promotion. I'm going to show you my lead so you can see the difference between the two ideas and the two leads. And right now, I want to kick things off by letting you hear from Joe Schriefer and letting you get a glimpse into kind of the foundation of this idea. So let's take a listen to Joe, and then we'll pick back up.
So let me tell you a little bit about the promotion, even though you may not be aware of it. This is a promotion that Evaldo Albuquerque wrote for Lifetime Income Report. And if you look at how the evolution of the idea came across, Zach Scheit is obviously the editor of Lifetime Income Report. He recommended a stock. The stock ticker was GOV. And the company, Matt, you have to correct me if I get this wrong, but I think it's Government Income Properties.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ticker is GOV. You should look up that ticker because, again, I'm telling you how all of this is coming together. Look up the ticker GOV. You can go back and read the issue. Maybe Matt can send us around the issue link for Lifetime Income Report where Zach recommended that particular company. But basically what Government Income Properties does, and what Zach wrote it up in the editorial, is that they are a massive owner of federal office buildings. And they own these office buildings as a landlord, and their number one tenant is the United States government. So what they do is they own these big buildings, and then they rent it back to the United States government. In those buildings, some of the buildings are rented by the Social Security Administration. So when Zach wrote this up, he wrote it up because you get paid dividend checks 4 times a year. So that was the general idea. He said, look, the government's growing. It shows no signs of slowing down. This is a way that you can get paid back a little bit of the money that you have to send to the government each and every year through 4 dividend checks by buying this company, GOV, who leases these buildings back to the United States government, right?
Okay, so you have an idea of what this promotion is based on. That it's really based on this company that owns real estate and leases the real estate to the United States government, to a variety of different governmental agencies, collects the lease payments, and then shares the profits, if you will, the money in the form of kind of dividends of payments to shareholders. With that in mind, now I want to start with my lead, my mock lead and idea. Once I share this with you, then I'll I'll share the rest of Joe's story about the final promotion and how the idea came about for the final promotion, and then we'll dig in and look at that promotion. So let's take a quick peek at my lead. Okay, so this is my lead, and the very first thing that I want you to see is that it's pretty like spot on with the main idea of what Joe shared. Now, I wrote this as a mock lead. I wrote this as an example of a big idea and then what a lead would look like. And the thing that I want you to see, and I want to walk you through just a couple of these things, but I really want to focus on the main promotion here. The thing that I want you to see is the idea is very simple, and it's presented right in the headline and subhead. And so it says the one simple investment that hands you passive rental payments every 90 days from over 84 buildings occupied by the United States government and the United Nations. It's a rare opportunity for the little guy investor to collect safe and secure ongoing payments from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Internal Revenue Service, the U.S. Food and Drug Association, and 29 other federal and state governmental agencies. So my approach was that at the time that I wrote this, which is a handful of years ago, when I first heard about this recommendation, my idea was simple, that it was a unique idea to be able to get paid rental payments from the government. The idea that the government was renting their office space was new, was unknown, it wasn't being talked about. And so the ability to get rental payments every 90 days from the US government was kind of new and exciting. And here's the angle that I went with. I dimensionalized what it means to collect rental payments from the U.S. government. So I said, picture this. You own 84 buildings with over 10.4 million square feet of office space, valued at over $1.9 billion in 31 different states, including Washington, D.C., all securely leased long-term to U.S. state and federal agencies, as well as the United Nations. And because you're an owner, you consistently receive massive rental payments every quarter without fail from such governmental agencies as, and then I listed out a bunch. And so you'll notice there's a lot of specifics here in this promotion. This all came about from some simple research that I did. 84 buildings, 10.4 million square feet of office space, $1.3 billion of value, 31 different states, right? All these different governmental agencies providing credibility, providing proof, spelling it out, and then covering an objection. The beautiful part, you do nothing. Change no toilets, speak with no tenants, make no repairs, and upgrade no properties. And still, every 90 days, like clockwork, you collect your dependable rental payments from the good old U.S. government, right? So this is a benefit. And then, of course, I'm addressing the objection, right? Sound like a stretch? I thought so too, until I stumbled across the one little investment I'm going to tell you about in the rest of this little letter, an open loop. An investment so profitable right now that it pays almost 2 times the yield of companies like Procter & Gamble, Microsoft, and JP Morgan Chase, almost 3 times the yield of Walmart and Johnson & Johnson, almost 5 times the yield of Apple, and almost 7 times the yield of Disney, all from the research that I did. And so, right, it's so profitable right now, and then that's a claim and proof. But frankly, the staggering yields you'll earn right from day one, so this is kind of an implied promise, you'll earn staggering yields day one, are just the beginning of what makes this unique investment such a gem of a find. I'll tell you how in just a second. Average investors like you are poised to experience gigantic gains from this play in early 2015. So I guess I wrote this in 2014, right? So this is also an open loop. In just a second, I'm going to tell you about this. First, let me tell you what this investment is and how it works to make you more and more money like clockwork. I promise. Did you know? And now I'm going to build the case and give evidence for this idea. Most of the office space utilized by U.S. government agencies is not owned by the government. It's true. The U.S. government actually has a landlord. Most of the office space occupied by various U.S. governmental agencies, well over 10.4 million square feet to be more precise, is actually owned by just a couple of private and publicly held companies, then leased to the government. And every month, month in and month out, the U.S. government is required to pay millions in lease payments to these landlord companies for the office space they occupy. One of these landlord companies collecting these monster monthly rental payments is Government Properties Income Trust. It's a real estate investment trust or REIT that focuses on blah, blah, blah. Gov has already returned on average 6.5% to investors in the last 5 years in quarterly dividend payments alone. That's 1.5, 2, and even in some cases 3 times what you could have earned with some of the darling stocks of Wall Street. And that's just on the quarterly dividend. And then I go through to reinforce, right, this, right, with, proof and credible sources. And I go through, when you grab your shares today, really what I did in this lead was I was building. Again, this was a mock lead. What I was doing here is really trying to sell the idea of this GOV, investing in this government properties income trust. Now, just as a side note, if I was selling a special report about this, if I was going to then offer folks a free report on how to get in and become the U.S. landlord, I would never mention the stock here, right? Because all I did was just give it away. Somebody could then press pause on the VSL, go over to finance.yahoo.com, search on this bad boy, and then go into their E-Trade account or whatever and buy it. This was just an example of a lead, seeing proof, right? Like credible source, right? 584 U.S. governmental agencies as reported by US.gov, showing you like the credibility behind this. And I'm going to include this for you just so that you can read through this later. Now, you'll see there's, it was it was something unique, but it wasn't a crazy, big, exciting idea. Like the reality is, right, that it's, I can invest in a company that owns the real estate that the U.S. government occupies, and I can get paid on that, right? And so not the most overly exciting idea. Now, I want to bring you back to Joe so you can hear the rest of the story of how Ivaldo took this kind of simple concept, this simple the GOV, I think it is, Government Properties Income Trust, and how he created a big marketing idea from it. And then we'll dive in and we'll actually look at his promotion. So let's go back to Joe.
So that was the general idea in the editorial. What Ivaldo did is he sat there. I don't know what the process exactly was for Ivaldo, but at some point he said, how do I spin that into a sales idea? So if he were writing down an idea a day, which he may or may not do, Ivaldo is an idea machine too. I mean, he comes up with a lot of ideas. So my guess is he's writing down more than one idea every single day. But what Ivaldo did is he said, how can I take something that's top of mind and figure out how to sell that idea? So what Ivaldo dreamt up is this idea that there's a glitch in the Social Security Administration that gets you paid 4 extra checks a year. So that is radically different from a sales idea than what Zach put in his original editorial. Again, I'm showing you all of this to say, here's how when you read editorial, you can think about, hey, that's a stock. It may not have been framed the best way in editorial. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. But Ivaldo took it a whole step further and said, if Social Security is renting these buildings, and if Government Income Properties is sending you 4 extra checks a year, he sat around and said, can I spin that in a way to say, how Americans can legally collect 4 extra Social Security checks this year? And of course, you'd have to hedge that legally because it's not the Social Security Administration sending you these, it's Government Income Properties, but it's that unique spin on it.
Did you hear that? That was Ivaldo's unique spin on it. That's what Joe said. Evaldo came up with this idea, which I'm about to show you, which is really that, wow, if this company owns buildings that are occupied by the Social Security Administration, and this company then pays you 4 times a year as part of that rental payment from the Social Security Administration, can we make this connection? Can we make this kind of case that it's like collecting 4 extra payments a year from the Social Security Administration? It's really, and that's the thing that I want you to get in this dissection. I want you to get how Evaldo took the idea of a company owning real estate that's being leased to the government, and then kind of sharing in the profits, in the real estate investment trust, the REIT, sharing the distributions, the dividend, the payments to shareholders, and how he took that ordinary common idea and spun it into 4 payments a year from the Social Security Administration that have nothing to do with your Social Security payments. So let's take a look at Evaldo's promotion, and let's go through the key points of the promo. Okay, so here we are. This is the PDF version of the promotion. Let me actually bring up the web version just so that you can see what it looked like online. So this is actually what the promotion looks like on online. I just wanted you to see it in all its ordinary glory. But now let's go back to the PDF version and let's go through these main points. So the first thing that you can see is the big idea, right at the top, right? Thanks to a little-known Social Security contract, you could get 4 deposits of $1,720 or more in 2018 for a total of $6,880. Warning, you must act before January 19th in order to get your first deposit and then a proof point. So look at this. You've got the big idea, right, that there's this Social Security contract that could what, right? And this, in essence, this little known Social Security contract is the unique mechanism. Remember, the unique mechanism is just the thing, the part of your product, the part of your offer, the part of the thing that you are giving to prospects that delivers the result. What is the result here? The result is the promise that 4 deposits of $1,720 or more on the year, a total of $6,880. How is that being delivered? By these little known Social Security contracts, or a little known Social Security contract. So big idea, unique mechanism, primary promise over here, and then urgency immediately, right in the deck copy. And I love how even with the urgency, you must act before January 19th, right? There's a benefit in there to get your first deposit, right? And then a proof point. Big idea, big promise. I think this is, I dig this because it kind of serves as a pattern interrupt. Urgency for why you want to respond now. Really, why you want to pay attention now. Why you want to read this now, right? Remember, when it comes to your marketing, you have to answer the question of, why should I even engage now? Why can't I just put this off later? And so this is important because there's urgency when it comes to responding to the offer. There's urgency like a deadline or scarcity, right, built into an offer. But there's also urgency for, why should I even engage now? Why can't I wait a couple days to read this, or to watch this video, or whatever it may be, right? And so there's urgency for why you need to engage and read this right now. And so really powerful deck copy if you look at the purpose of each of these chunks. And then, of course, taking this image right from the top, they put it in here again at the start of this letter. And this, by the way, this little disclaimer over here is the disclaimer on that this has nothing to do with Social Security. This is not like an additional payment from the Social Security Administration. This was put in here as required by their legal department. But you've got proof expanded proof on what was just said, and it serves as a pattern interrupt. Now, I'm gonna walk you through the main components of this promotion, and I want you to look at the overall structure of this marketing message. This is a marketing message. This is a promotion that has made millions and millions and millions of dollars, has generated tens of thousands of brand new paying customers for Agora Financial. And look at the simplicity of the structure, right? Recognize, like you've heard me say many times before inside of Acquire and Monetize, that there's nothing fancy about the web page, the graphics, the layout. Like, it's run-of-the-mill long form sales letter. What is special and why this worked was because of the big idea and because of what you're about to see in the simplicity of the structure. So the first thing that you'll see, and you've seen this before, like you saw this in the End of America dissection, which if you haven't gone through that, you can find that elsewhere in the A&M portal. But you'll see there's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of really taking that big idea and saying it over and over in a variety of different ways. You're seeing that right here with the same image right off the bat. And then in the next few minutes, I'll show you how a contract just like this one helped me uncover an arrangement between the Social Security Administration and the private sector, one that allows any American citizen to receive 4 deposits in 2018, 4 more in 2019, 4 more in 2020, 4 more deposits every year after that for the rest of your life. That's a benefit and a claim. Right? This is a benefit, but it's also a claim. And so what follows? Proof. Here is proof. 3 different case studies or testimonials. So they don't just leave a claim dangling out there. They follow it up with proof. And you're going to see this done over and over and over throughout this promotion. Think about it. Steve's not even old enough to qualify for Social Security. That's an objection that they're dealing with, right? Like, well, what if I'm not of age to collect Social Security? Well, right, you don't even need to be of age. That's implied, and you're going to see them cover this objection again later on. Yet he's using this special situation to collect a deposit that's almost 5 times larger than the average Social Security check. So there's a benefit in here, and this is what I want you to notice. You see the use of this phrase, special situation? Special situation is, right, they don't tell you what the special situation is. You're going to see this phrase used a variety of different ways throughout this promotion, and they never tell you, they never really spell out in detail what this is. It's blind. But what they're doing is they're telling you there is a special situation going on, and here's what it can do for you, and here's what it can do for you, and here's what it can do for you, right? And they're doing that over and over and over. And so, right, because of this is the benefit that you can experience, right? These deposits have been increasing since their inception. That's a claim. Then they offer proof. Then they go through, right, a benefit, right? It could lead to hundreds and thousands of dollars being deposited directly into your account. Just saying the same thing that they said before, just a new and different way, right? Is this legit? Is the objection that they are dealing with right here? So then they bring up the objection and they cover it. They bring up the objection when somebody might be having it, right? At this point in the letter, somebody might be saying, yeah, is this true? Is this legit? Like, how is this possible? Am I going to get in trouble for this, right? Like, what's the deal? And so it gets covered, right? Same thing, objection, right? And what we found was stunning. In this case, they used more client or subscriber case studies as proof. Yes, it's legit. Here are 3 more examples, right? And then they go back to benefits, right? That basically it allows any investor to earn income, no matter what your age is, no matter what your income level is, without having to pay extra taxes and without affecting your social security checks, right? I know this may sound too good to be true. Now they're dealing with an objection. At this point, somebody might be saying, wait, I can collect income no matter what my age, income level, right? I don't have to pay extra taxes on it. Like it's not going to affect my, like this sounds just way too good to be true. And so they deal with the objection, and that's what they're going to overcome. Then they deal with another objection, right? Is this going to affect my Social Security benefits? You see idea they're dealing with objections, and they're dealing with questions and concerns that prospects reading this could have. Will this affect my Social Security benefits? And so then they go through, and you'll see a benefit over here. You can get these deposits on top of what you collect from Social Security, right? In the next few minutes, I'll reveal all the details. An open loop, right? I'll explain the little-known contract between the government and the private sector that makes this opportunity possible. This opportunity, right? The special opportunity, the special situation. Never telling what it is, just alluding to it. Start collecting those extra deposits of up to $1,720 or more. Benefit, easy to do, right? It's virtually guaranteed. You'll watch money getting deposited directly into your retirement account. And notice the wording, you'll watch money getting deposited directly into your bank account. No work, no effort, right? Easy. But also notice, as long as you follow these instructions. These instructions are not given anywhere in this promotion. These instructions are shared, as you'll see, as part of the offer. But so, right, open loop, benefit, proof, more proof. Watch how much proof is given throughout this promotion. It's staggering. Very similar to the End of America. You'll notice that at the End of America, the most successful VSL ever to be published, ever across the board, let alone in the financial publishing world. And you'll notice two things in these two promotions, two wildly successful promotions, loaded with proof, not just claims. Right? Worked for 100% of the participants. Claim. Proof because of this law, right? Reason why is a proof point, right? No matter what happens in the economy or to Social Security, right? The payouts must go on. That's a benefit. Notice urgency, right? You must put your name on the list before January 19th. Now notice that there's urgency. You got to put your name on this list before January 19th. And notice this phrasing, you must put your name on the list. Doesn't sound like work. It just sounds like you just got to put your name on the list. Put your name on the list, and as long as it's before January 19th, and all of these benefits can be yours. Now I put this dashed line here because this is really the end of the lead, right? This is the, that was really the lead. That's really the whole lead. It set the emotional hook. I'm excited. I'm in. I want to hear more. This sounds great, right? It set the emotional hook. Now, before going on, what they take a step back to establish credibility for Zach. You heard Joe talk about Zach, and then right after the credibility building, they give pain and a reason why you should pay attention, an extra reason why besides just the added benefit of getting payments. Now they're kind of, before the lead was all about experiencing pleasure, all about getting payments, not having to pay taxes on it, right? Like not impacting your Social Security. It works for any age. Now it's why you should pay attention because of the pain associated with only collecting Social Security and only getting a measly $1,400 a month. And that's not right. And you shouldn't have to live off of that. And I've worked a long time to barely keep a roof over my head and blah, 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 right? And if we keep going, you'll notice, look, again, this urgency. Now they're building urgency, right? Remember, they're building urgency around the idea and around the payoff. This is not urgency around the offer. This is not the deadline of the offer. This is the deadline for being able to take advantage of this special situation. That's how it's being presented here. That this is right. So this urgency is around this payoff. It's not the deadline for the offer. That's a subtle point, but an important point. And then benefit, receive deposits anywhere from $774 to as high as $69.88, right? As long as you act before January, you can put yourself in a position to receive deposits. Receive deposits, easy, not a lot of work, not a lot of effort, not a lot of knowledge you need. And then over here, they're building the case for this. Like they're building the case around why you can trust in this, why this is important, and why you want this, right? That the American Social Security system is running on fumes. It's going to go up in smoke, blah, blah, blah. And they're offering proof, more proof, right? Mary, John, Robert. Benefit. You could receive up to 4 of those deposits every year, right? How many times have they said that already? But again, future pacing. Imagine what that kind of income could do for you, right? Extra cash to pay off your mortgage, cover your living expenses. Simply add your nest egg, right? It couldn't be easier, and anyone can collect these checks. And objection, more urgency, right? January 19th again. It was on the last page. I think they almost mention this date once on every page, or at least it feels that way. It might be every other page. So how do you add your name to the list? Well, when can you expect to see your deposit, and how much can you expect your first deposit to be? I'll answer all those questions in a moment. An open loop. Before I show you that, right? I want to show you something that's going to blow your socks off. Just more proof. This whole section is more proof. Bill, right? About this, right? That's the equivalent of 14 average Social Security checks in just 1 month. Bill is just one of a few Americans who've discovered the secret. Claim, ease, proof. Claim, ease, proof. Urgency, again, before January 19th. Look at how they're weaving in, right, that this is kind of a secret, right? There's another pool of money few people know about. Tapping into, see, this is an example of how you could see how, right, the main emotion that was presented, or the main emotion that was being tapped and prodded in the idea, in the headline complex, the lead, was greed. Right? Greed, how you can make more money. But see here how they're weaving in this this desire to know things that others don't. This desire to be somebody in the know by mentioning that what you're going to learn and get few people know about. This is really just, this is a dramatization of the structure of the government and how the checks are made. Like, I love how it's so funny when you know what's going on behind the scenes and you know that this is a REIT, a real estate investment trust. It's funny to see this chart, but it shows you how it makes it look more official. It makes it feel more official, like, right, that this private sector thing is underneath the government, right? Like, it reports to the government, it feels like, but it's not. It's a company that owns the real estate that leases it to the government. And then the reason why. This is the reason why this opportunity exists. Like, well, you know, like, what's the deal? Why would the government do this? Or why would the Social Security Department do this, right? It's answering the question of why. Again, urgency. You just need to put your name on the list before January 19th. The same objection, no age or income requirement, but you do need to follow a very specific set of instructions. It's brain dead easy, but you need to follow a very specific set of instructions. Remember, this is blind. They do not share these instructions in the promotion. And then more proof. More proof, right? Another, doesn't matter your age, income, or your tax situation. Claim, then proof. Then again, more urgency. January 19th. You might be asking yourself, how much can I expect to collect? Now, the beauty is that this is finishing up the promotion. This is kind of like, right, like this is answering a question, right, at the end of we're about to go into the offer portion, right? The amount will vary depending on how you put your name on the list. I love the way this is said, right? Talk about a marketing frame, right? That really your payments, like, so you understand, your payments are based on how much you invest in the real estate investment trust, how much you put in. They framed it, restated it, repositioned it, couched it, whatever you want to call it, as how you put your name on the list. It's really how much you invest in there, but they framed it as how you put your name on the list. They did say over here, the more you're willing to put in, the higher your deposit will be, right? But I love how they framed it right here. The amount it varies depending on how you put your name on the list. What they're really saying is, like, if you want to put your name on the list as a to get big deposits, right, you can do that. If you want to put your name on the list to get little deposits, you can do that. Behind the scenes, what that means is you could either invest a lot or you can invest a little. That's up to you. And then right here, they introduce the free premium. So now we segue from the argument, the marketing argument, into the offer, right? This is the segue. Now, I wish I could explain all the details in this letter, but I don't want this information to leak online. Instead of posting the details online, I put all the instructions in a free manual, blah, 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 little known Social Security. This is the first premium being offered, the first free bonus, if you will. And now they introduce scarcity. Today, I'm giving away 467 copies of this manual completely free of charge. I only have a limited number of copies available. What I think is, it is interesting. I'm not sure where this number came from. I'm not sure how and why they're using that, but I think it was important for you to see how they just introduced scarcity. So now in this promotion, there's urgency, January 19th, and there is scarcity, which in and of itself creates more urgency. And then they give proof or evidence for why is it scarce. So why is he only giving away 467 copies? And they explain that right here. Again, secret. Let's keep this between you and me. And then, of course, I want you to find out how to add your name to the list of recipients and almost immediately get a deposit benefit. By law, like clockwork, in 100% of the cases, right? Again, 467. I'm giving away, this is interesting, I'm giving away 467 copies today. Today. It's kind of funny, right? Tomorrow they'll give away another 467. And then they go into the main product. Now, you've seen this before. You see this on a regular basis. 99 out of 100 newsletters, continuity offers, are presented as a premium-driven offer. This whole promotion was designed to create demand for this premium, which you get for free when you take a subscription, a trial subscription to this newsletter. You get that premium free, which will tell you how to collect those 4 payments a year from Social Security when you take a trial subscription to the main product. And of course, right, then secrets, 100% risk-free. And then then they go into the next premium, right? And you'll see the secret transaction that could generate hundreds or more in instant income month after month. This is a blind teaser, the secret transaction. They never tell you what that secret transaction is. They just describe the secret transaction and they hold that close to the chest and then they build a case for it. This is a benefit over here. There's a way to legally generate hundreds of dollars in instant income in 3 minutes or less. Hard to believe, addressing an objection. And then they go through, right, like claim, and right, if they can do it, you can do it, proof, right, even if they knew nothing about the financial markets, even if they were homeless, didn't have a job, even if they never graduated from high school, and then proof. So this is a claim, and it's a claim like that no matter what it is, like if they could do it, you could do it, and here's proof. And they go through proof, case study, another case study over here. Dimensionalizing the benefit. She made enough money in just 3 minutes to treat her whole company team to a few rounds, right? Beers. More proof. Paul, Ron over here. And then an objection. This is not some crazy new investment fad or trick. It has nothing to do with day trading commodities or currencies. That's addressing an objection. And then they offer proof, different proof. In this case, they offer a credibility source from Wired magazine. And right, that's the second premium that you get now. And then they go on to the third premium, how to juice the dividend payments on your favorite blue chip stocks by up to 500%, right? Most small time investors don't know this. You're now in the know, a secret, right? Benefit. There's a stock market loophole that lets you collect $5,000, $15,000, $50,000 or more in extra income starting with only $50. Benefit. Secret. Loophole, right? Benefit. Blind. Like you'll be able to read this and read through all of my notes after this, but look at the structure, right? Just like benefit, claim, proof, benefit, claim, proof, benefit, claim, proof, objection, and so on. Little known loophole, claim, proof, more proof. Stats, right? This is track record proof, performance, and then there is more proof from case studies. And that's the third premium that you get now. So that's the third bonus. Then they go into a recap of everything that you get. And the thing that I want you to see here, so they go into a recap of everything that you get, including the 3 bonuses and the subscription and whatnot, and then they do a value build. All told, that's more than $695 worth of value. Yet the published price for complete access to this whole package is just $99 for a full year. But that's the retail. See, they gave the full value. Look at this, the full value. Then they gave the retail value. And then they did an open loop with the price drop. But today you won't have to pay anything near that price. More on that in just a second. More proof, right? So open loop, right? Built value, showed the drop with the retail, and then open loop the price drop, gave more proof first. Now here is something that you don't see done all that often, but it's extremely savvy. It's what's referred to as the false close. The false close is you think that they're done and they're going to give you the call to action and the price, but basically the false close is, but there's more, right? That's really in essence what they're doing. But there's more is the false close. So you thought, right, I want you to become my next success story. And if you take a risk-free trial today, I'll also send you, right? Like you thought that they were going to close here and tell you to click the button, but nope, there's more. There is a bonus report, the government-backed loophole that eliminates mortgage payments, saving you hundreds every month. This is the 4th premium, right? All benefit driven. And then you could see the same thing, claim, objection, proof, social proof, specific proof over here, benefit, dimensionalizing the benefit. That's money you can add to your nest egg instead of shelling out to banks in the form of mortgage payments. And then the urgency, again, right? The special report is not available anywhere for any price, risk-free. If you sign up within the next 24 hours, you can get everything I just mentioned at a fraction of the price. So see how more urgency and then the price drop, just $49 for everything. Proof, objection, re-bringing up the pain, scarcity, right? Only 467 copies, and then the final call to action. See how over here, though, if you sign up within the next 24 hours, they added another point of urgency, right? To get this discount, right, you got to sign up in the next 24 hours. But you also, there's urgency because you don't want to miss the January 19th cutoff. This is a very simple, almost, I don't want to call it templated, but it's a very simple structure, a very common structure that you see done over and over and over. And the bulk of this, right, the bulk of this, everything leading up to, if we scroll up, everything really leading up to, let's show you everything. Oops. Let's do this. Everything leading up to this, everything leading up to the main product is all about the idea. You see how that what Ivaldo did was he came up with a great idea about this Social Security contract. They then created a report, the first premium, to fulfill on this, and they use this awesome idea and that report to feed people into their newsletter. The newsletter didn't change, right? That newsletter is the same. They've been selling that for years. They'll continue to sell that. What changed was the copywriter developed a great idea in the research, right? Turned it into a great lead, a great really promotion, and they were able to fulfill on that promotion with a report, right? That report could be 10 pages, 8 pages, 6 pages, maybe it's 12 pages, right? The length is really irrelevant. It's all about great idea. You see the difference between what it is that I did and what it is that Ivaldo did here, and how much more interesting and more compelling and more exciting his idea was than my idea, right? And it's just a great lesson for you when you understand, right? Like that if you push it, you can continue to push, you can continue to stretch, you can continue to look for connections, even loose connections. He made this connection of, right, it's like getting 4 additional deposits from a Social Security contract without touching your Social Security payments. all starting with a real estate investment trust that owns buildings the government leases. Really just outstanding. And so there you go. That's this month's A&M campaign dissection. I would urge you to download a copy of this promotion with my notes and go through it. If need be, watch this dissection again. And of course, I'll talk to you next month.